Hey, I'm James from SoCadet Barbecue, and this is the Solo Stove Bonfire 2.0, the second generation smokeless fire pit from Solo Stove. But despite being called the second generation, it weighs about the same, it costs the same amount, it looks pretty much the same. So to find out what actually makes this a second generation pit, and if you should wait and upgrade to a 2.0, or if you see a smoking deal on a Solo Stove 1.0, or should I say smokeless deal on a 1.0, is which pit is the right one for you. So to find out, we're going to unbox and do a review of the Solo Stove Bonfire 2.0. So if there are so many similarities, what actually makes this a 2.0? Well, there are two brand new features here, which is a removable base plate and a removable ash pan. And that may not sound like a big difference because I suspect on first fire, these two pits will burn identical to one another. But it's the usability of the pit that I'm really hoping that my upgrade to the second generation makes it all worthwhile. And let me just show you a little clip here. So when we're done with our fire, removing the ash from the first generation pit is a bit of a pain. We don't live in a big country property where we can go and just shake out the ash. If you do, maybe this is not so relevant to you, but we live in the city where a smokeless fire pit is actually something you want, so we're not bothering friends and neighbors nearby. But to get the ash out, I can't just go dump it in the corner of our yard. We have a dog, and every time I do that, she loves to run, tromp all the way through the ash, bring it in the house, or for some reason, eat it. Like, why? Bella, that makes no sense. But nonetheless, she absolutely loves the ash that comes out of the fire pit. And so the only way that I can clean this out is to remove any of the accessories I was using, whether it's the bonfire cooking hub or the heat deflector plate, remove it from the heat safe ring that we need to be on our deck, so absolutely no heat is transferring to the wood deck. Get a garbage bag, wrap it around, roll it, shake it all out, and then get ready to build our fire. The two new features on Solo Stove Bonfire 2.0 are that removable base plate as well as ash pan, which I think is going to make day-to-day use of this pit a breeze compared to Generation 1. So let's find out if it lives out to the promise and get it out of the box. All right, let's get this out of the box. So this is what we're after here. Let's get these out. I'll bring it nice and close, show you how to set it up. Okay, we're going to remove our deck heat ring, which is going to make this safe to use on a wood surface, install underneath. And we're going to drop in our ash catcher. And then our removable base plate with the sort of the dome shape facing up. Let's drop that in. Hi, Bella. So unlike before, our cleanup process should just involve removing our ring here at the top. Once this is cool, being able to reach down and remove our deflector. And then just lift out where all of our ash has fallen in and dump that into a bag without needing to sort of go to town at rolling this all around. So already I can tell just looking at that, I feel encouraged that this is a great step up. I'm not sure if you have a Series 1 that it's worth upgrading to a Series 2, but if you've been on the fence and you're trying to decide between the two, I already feel really good about how this is working. Let's build a little fire and test it out. Drop in our ring, give that a few minutes to start burning cleanly. So this should be 100% straightforward since I measured and confirmed they are the exact same size, but let's just transfer over our bonfire cooking ring with the Solo Stove heat deflector onto the Solo Stove 2.0 just to confirm everything fits. Using some high heat gloves so I'm not getting burned doing this. Drop on. And looks good. Let me grab the heat shield as well and just confirm. Since I get asked all that time, I don't use my spark shield, pardon me, not heat, spark shield, not heat shield, but just to see if we're able to get that to fit as well. So I'm told that this actually does fit with the heat deflector. I think in a previous video when I tested the Solo Stove heat deflector where I put a cast iron pan down low and up high, measured the temp difference without it, and the low pan was cool, put this in, and even as I feel right here, it's pushing a ton of heat my way. So this actually, does work, even though I think if you want to be on the budget conscious side, you can get away with the cast iron cooktop, and it pushes heat very similar. Not sure the exact airflow dynamics, but to me, sitting beside it, it gets some of that same benefit of that heat moving over. And so one of the practical limitations is, again, when it's really, really hot and pushing a ton of heat my way. Whoo, it's hot. move a little further back. It's dead of December here and it's freezing cold, but you wouldn't know it sitting that close. But one of the practical limitations, again, is removing something that's getting really hot, having this in place and then trying to add wood, which is why I don't use it. But to help answer a question that I get more often than most when it comes to the Solo Stove, let's confirm if this fits. Whew, careful, Bella, you're gonna get warm. I know. Okay, let's test with our hub. Yeah, no, I'm not fussing with that, and this is warm. So I swore I tested that before when the fires weren't running and it's easier, but no, that doesn't fit. These little tongs sit out too far for the bonfire hub. Perhaps if you were using the three-legged props that come with the deflector, that might fit. But again, I just think practically, oh, my balls. I just think practically speaking, when you're working with a really hot fire, even with the assistance of high heat gloves, it's not really practical to remove the deflector, the hub, the spark shield, add wood, and reinstall everything, especially when you're working on a wood deck and you don't want to drop anything. So there you have it. That is an unboxing and first fire in the Solo Stove 2.0. Now, big question, should you upgrade or should you get it? Let's tackle those one by one. Should you upgrade? Unless you find yourself in the unique circumstances that I am, where you don't have a spot in your yard to dump the ash, I would say no. This is burning and performing exactly the same. So unless you have a cottage, another property, or a friend who maybe wants to pick it up and buy it off your hands for the ease of use of emptying out the ash using the new base plate and ash collector, I would stick with Series 1 because the performance to me looks absolutely identical. But if you were in the, I'm thinking of Solo Stove, looking at it, and I haven't quite pulled that trigger, and I have a choice between the original Bonfire Solo Stove like I have, or the Solo Stove Bonfire 2.0, which we unboxed today, I would 100% go for the 2.0, because that extra, again, ease of use of accessing the ash pan, removing that out without having to roll everything around and shake it into an oversized garbage bag, is going to make my life a ton easier, and I think I'll get more use out of it, because I honestly kind of dread some of the pain of getting ready to clean it out and use it when our family wants to have a little bit of a campfire, after dinner or something like that. There's also a ton that you can do. I showed quickly there the cooking accessory, but I've cooked pulled pork, chicken wings, steak, bacon and eggs, boiled a lobster. So if you want to check that out, be sure to look for some of my other videos featuring the Solo Stove. It's more than just a fire pit. There's a ton of really cool things you can do and take advantage of that low smoke profile that it puts off, because our food doesn't taste like you're going out in a forest that's wet and licking a wet tree. I know it's gross, but sometimes that's how you smell if you're sitting near a traditional campfire and it's just blowing a bunch of smoke. Our food doesn't take that on, which is another great advantage of a low smoke, smokeless fire pit designed like the Solo Stove. I hope you really enjoyed today's video. Let me know if there's anything else you'd like to see me do with the Solo Stove Bonfire 2.0 down in the comments. But that's it for today. I'm James from Smokeless Barbecue, signing off.